online to see if there were any videos about people using these or setting them up, and there wasn't. So this is my short homespun version of unboxing. It came in the rain yesterday, so everything's wet. Yes, that was a great choice to have it across that way.
Action.
So note to self, if the box is wet, when you put it on the table, make sure that it has some support where everything falls out. So, owner's manual, parts to put together, assuming that's the clamp. So I'm just going to get everything out. Part of the clamp, legs, 4 wheels. Okay. Located bolt number 11, washer 10, and the nut that goes with it. And then make sure these are aligned so that when they scissor out, this becomes flat. And I'm hoping I can just kind of do it like this and get that pushed through. Put the washer on, and then the nuts. I'm not exactly sure how important this is, but the picture shows one support on the outside going that way, one support on the outside going this way. This bar is on the outside of both of them. So I'm going to unilaterally just say that's on this side, and then we'll put the next strap here. So the next step is to put the rails on. Same bolts, same washer, same nuts for this. And we've got the outside setting against the chair. So this is the inside, and one will go here, and then the other rail goes here. And I'm putting the bolts from the outside in, and the nuts will be on the inside. I don't know that that's that important because we've done different things all through. So this is after this side has been put on, that side's been put on, and this is the last thing. So again, bolt, washer, nut, and bolt, washer, and nut. Cool. Okay, and then we'll tighten those down. That's it. Next step is the lift jack and attaching the lift jack base plate together. So they're using bolts number 7 and that's number 8 as shown below, and it looks like the bolts go in. You might have to expand that up to get that to happen. And the nuts are on the bottom. So I don't know if we can get the nuts in there without lifting. So in order to raise this up, just use your
Jack handle.
jack handle. And just turn it clockwise to raise that up just enough to get these two of the bolts to fit under here. Oh goodness, here we go. 1, 2. And these are lock bolts, so you always want to put the little plastic thing away from the bolt end so that they will lock. So this part of the directions were not exactly clear, but it looks like this goes on here, and then that little bolt that's back here just tightens down, which I could do by hand, but and then it slides back and forth, but doesn't come off. When you get your directions, you may see something different than we did, but I think that's right. I think we figured out what the ambiguous part. There's not a illustration for hooking the actual jaws on top of here, but it describes it in words. So I think this is where this is supposed to go together. This one has a tiny bit of a metal in there, so it's not letting the bolt go through. There we go. And then again, lock screws, lock bolts, lock nuts. Maybe. There we go. And then just tighten those down. Advertising says that they'll go down to 4-inch logs, so I'm hoping that's the case, because the next video I'll show you what we're using this for. And I'm hoping this works. Is how I've been having to debark these little trees up to this point, and this is why I'm really hoping this log Tuff works. But what I've been doing is clamping them onto this pallet and then trimming all of these off, which is a pain in of itself. So just taking and then initially I was doing it by hand like this and getting the bark off, which isn't like terrible, especially on these trees that are already dead, because it just comes kind of off. But so I've been doing it by hand up until we came across these, because we've been refinishing a floor in an old house that we're restoring. This from Diamond Brush is a scraper, advertised to use on decks or wood. We're using it on an older oak floor that had old vinyl on it. I got the idea that maybe this could be a good debarker, so I want to show you how it works. So much quicker, and it leaves these little saw marky, or like little brush strokes in it, which actually I don't mind, because when I do it with the hand scraper, I have to come back and get all of this, of the inner bark kind of off of there, which I don't have to do if I've used this. So let me show you. My hats are off to these guys for creating this lovely little scraper. They make them big too, that go on floors, to use on floors with the big sanding machines. But this one has worked well. We'll give it a try. So it's advertised to be 4.5 inches around at most of the logs that I'm working on, because we're trying to do the railing. I don't want them to be any more than this big. It get too big. And we have a bunch of these little trees that grew up after the fire that are now getting beetle attacked. So I'm hoping I can use them. So I'm going to try it and see how well this holds, and then if we can just spin them. Well, the tree isn't exactly straight, I suppose. Okay. Close enough. Wow, that held it well. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little more. One complaint is it needs to be maybe 2 feet taller so that I can actually stand up and do it, which we might have to build a little platform. Other than that, if I don't have to stop and change those clamps and I can roll the log and it stays in place, I'm really happy. Nice job. Tuff, what was it? Timber Tuff? Timber Tuff, nice job.